All right. And we should, he says, we're streaming in just a moment. All right, there goes the notification. It's nice. Did Scott just undo his zipper?
That was not me.
Okay.
No, that was me taking a slurp of coffee and it's squeaking on the microphone.
And it's like, all right, this isn't that kind of show. And we're live.
I thought someone was scratching the vinyl.
Sorry.
Hey, folks. Welcome, Geocaching Podcast. How you doing? I don't want to say we have a lot of unusual noises that are on this show, but, you know, sometimes some are a little more questionable than others. Oh. All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
All right, do this thing. I'll put the little thing over here and push the little button over here. And let's do this.
You want to know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. But come on, take a chance now. Go, geocache, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome to the Geocaching Podcast, episode 478, recorded live on December 7th, 2016. I'm your host, Headhardhat with
Scott Burks.
Task 427 and
Info Ferret.
You can join our chat room and watch our live video stream, plus participate with us as we record this episode. All this and more can be found at www.geocachingpodcast.com/live. Be sure to contact us via our voicemail line at 630-31-VOICE, and also find us on Twitter at geocachingpodcast.com/Twitter and Facebook at geocachingpodcast.com/Facebook. This episode is sponsored by our good patrons of the Geocaching Podcast. To become a contributing patron, simply click on our Patreon or PayPal logos on our website to help keep our podcast going. From all of us at the Geocaching Podcast, we thank you. You know, when you go and you have your soundboard and you slide up your mic volume instead of the iPad volume, it tends to not work as well. So.
No.
If there was a little extra long pause there, that's why. But that's how it goes. So yeah, I guess the big thing right now is the weather. They are not calling it. What did they call it last time? The Arctic vortex or something?
The polar vortex, wasn't it?
Polar vortex, not the Polar Express, because it's Christmas time. It's polar. And they're not even calling it. They're just calling it a cold air mass. And
Is it supposed to be that? I haven't been paying attention. Is it really supposed to be like that cold?
Yeah, it's apparently the jet stream has left the northern hemisphere.
Oh yeah,
And-
like Friday night, 12 degrees. Ooh,
Yeah, it literally was one of those things where it slid to the right and down and then kept going. So the jet stream's way the heck out in the ocean.
yeah.
And that caused all this cold air to come from, thanks Canada, this just cold air, and it's gone through Montana and all the way down, and it's going to freeze everything down to Florida. So it's going to be cold outside.
Good to know.
Yeah. So the next couple of days will be frigid. I am going to actually have to wear my hoodie.
Oh, you poor
And
baby.
I may have to zip it.
You poor baby.
I'm telling you, it's awful.
You gonna be okay?
It's nice here.
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, well, it's been sort of that little fine rain that gets everywhere today, but it's been a beautiful last week's been gorgeous sun.
Well, it's going summer for you, right?
It is, yeah.
So in New Zealand.
Yeah, so
Oh,
as I say, I will gloat for about 4 months, and then
What's
you
to say
get,
she sucks now.
and then you'll be able to gloat sort of May, June, July, August, September, October, when it's nice for you and it's crappy for us.
Well, payback's a bummer. I'm just
Right.
saying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, not too much. Planning on some geocaching hides, actually, to get a little creative. So I've been working on that this past week. Couple of park and grabs here and there. Not too much, but, well, now it's going to get cold, so nobody's going to do anything. So I'll be working inside. I'm just saying.
Mm.
How about you, Scott? Except
It's cold.
it's cold.
Getting ready for Geocaching Day. That's coming up once again. It's time.
Do a spin-off on that's for our Jewish friends.
Our new listeners.
Yes.
Geocaching Day is for Jewish people to something to do. You can go out. Geocaching Day is great because you go and you cache on Christmas Day, and of course there's rules. Me and a guy named Ivan made it up. It's coming up. 2009 was our first year doing it. So what is that, like our seventh year, eighth year?
Gotta love made up rules.
we have made up rules. Our rules to follow. In fact, I just heard Daryl quote it the other day on a podcast. He was talking about it. He was quoting some of the rules, and it's you go and you geocache on Christmas Day all day, and it's great because there is literally nobody around. There's no cops, there's no people, and it's all urban. It's all urban caching, and it's to go out and it's strictly a numbers game is what it is that day. Geocaching is all about numbers, and so you go and you hit it and you hit it hard, man. You find that area, and that's what I've been doing. I think I finally found our area. It's Oak Brook Terrace. It's a suburb about 40 minutes away, and it's got a line of puzzles, like 70 puzzles down the street, and we have them all. We have all the finals to them. So gonna hit that area hard, and like I said before we came on, I was looking for a Chinese restaurant because you also have to eat Chinese food on Geocaching Day. That's another rule.
Now, we have? Do you got enough content to do a show on that before Christmas, or
we did a show on it last year?
Okay, well, we should have a way so that people at least can get the rules from you.
Yeah, I can come up with the rules. I have rules.
So, Neil Moore on the chat room wants to know if your geocaching rules are called the geocaching commandments.
No, they're just the rules. They're just a rule. They're not even rules. It's just the rules. Everything has rules. So it's how we do it. This is how it is. Obviously, you don't have to follow the rules if you want to do it yourself. But if you want to have a total Geocaching Day experience, me and a guy named Ivan, who's I See It here in Chicago, we did it. We came up with the rules together, and he's coming out again. Ivan flip flops every year because he goes away with his wife. It's gonna be a light year this year. Everybody's going away. Even Daryl's bowing out. Daryl can't do it. Wow. So it's gonna be me, Jesse, and Ivan because N9 Talk he usually is. Well, his wife is 8.5 months pregnant. So he's like, I may make it. Maybe I might make it.
Make him take his own.
Don't count me in, but I might make it. Yeah.
Well, make him take his own car, so if he's got to dash off, he can.
Yes.
So it'll be light, but that'll be good because that means one car and one car. We're quicker.
Oh,
yeah. So it's gonna be fun.
That's great. Well, if you do have get the rules typed up, and we'll put it on the website.
Okay.
And people can check it out. So once I get it up there, I'll put it up. It'll be up in the menu, and you just click on it and go to the page.
Yeah. Anybody want to? I mean, if anybody want to hear about it, it's last year, around this time last year, we did a whole show about it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing more fun than finding a Chinese restaurant on Christmas.
It's not as easy as you think it is. It's easy, but not as easy as you think it is.
No, and
you got to look. You got to look.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's awesome.
That's what I've been doing is getting ready, preparing, and getting things. I gotta get everything set, and you have to do an event, so I have to get an event set up. You have to do a flash mob as well, and see who shows up to the flash mob on Christmas Day at like 5:00. Who's going to show up?
Well, you better get those in if you don't have
I know
them.
that's what I'm saying. I gotta get them in. I know. Trust me, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm preparing.
Awesome.
So that's what I've been up to.
Cool. Daz, what about yourself?
Well, had a couple days of almost freezing here, not quite down to freezing, and temps are coming back up. So being in the 50s, so.
Nice.
Not too bad, but had a decent weekend. Went out with my new knee brace and did a couple puzzles, revenged a couple DNFs, and finally got the Ultimate Navigator series complete. Probably spent about traveled about 200 miles total on that one between the 5 different caches that I had to get for the information that was in there. And there was a couple of real pain in the ass puzzles, ding, 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 on on that one. But, got the series complete and finally went and got for the find. And there was probably, say, 2 pi r. There was a lot of volume to search through for that final micro. And basically, it was almost a micro in a forest, except for the forest was one giant ass oleander.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a big oleander.
Yeah.
Good stuff. That's good. Good. Sarah, how much stuff?
Well, it's been a sort of bitting and bobbing about weekend because I've been a solo mom because my other half's actually on a work trip to your side of the planet,
Oh, really? Where's it going?
New York.
Oh, excellent.
It was supposed to be going and looking at the Christmas tree in Times Square last night.
Oh, nice.
I've deliberately not looked at the map where he's staying because I'd only get very, very jealous at all the caches he's around and not finding.
Not finding that.
Well, actually, he went for a walk last weekend because I was getting one of the lads' haircut and he went for a walk with my parents and they they were up on a ridgeline, spotted a flash of blue from a container and found a geocache. I've trained them.
There you go.
And it's one I found about 4 years ago that theoretically had been relocated because they'd put a road through part of the area for the power company. So it was theoretically out of action, but it's definitely there. But the best one I actually got to was a quick event before a group of caches went off to Mana Island, which is now about 1.5 miles off the coast of just up from us. That's a predator-free island, so they've eradicated all the rats, the mice, the stoats, the feral cats, so the bird, etc. So the bird life can really flourish.
Oh, never mind. Keep going.
Yeah, so you can get a chance to see a lot of very rare birds that are there because there aren't any predators around to eat them. And the geology is pretty good as well. But geocaching with a CETO and an event, it's good for 7 cache types in a day, and there's a fair few T5 caches on the island because you need to charter a boat to get there.
Wow.
So that was really cool just to get in to the event at the start and then leave everybody else to go and have an awesome time. I went to watch my lads because they were on the scout float for the local Santa parade. So that was me, and I'm looking forward to getting my fundraising path tags for the Oamaru GeoFest. They should be posted out, so they should come up in a couple of days.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And and we need a new prime minister.
Don't get us started.
No, we don't want yours. Apparently the deputy's just got the nod, so he's the finance minister now. So it's a safe pair of hands, but he's got I think a cardboard cutout of him's got more personality though.
Oh, boy.
Nice.
Yeah, we wish we had that problem. All right, so anyways,
We should be
podcast
so
roundup.
lucky.
Podcast roundup, letting our viewers know what's going on in the geocaching podcasting community. And I just flipped my notes here. I hate when that happens. What's coming up this week on GeoGearheads is Geocaching Insights 2. Rock Chalk of geocaching.com comes back to talk with Chris of the Northwest and Daryl W4 about what's been happening at the lily pad. All right.
Isn't that what they have a podcast
That's
for?
what they just did the podcast about. But, and I have to say this with great honesty and sincerity, Daryl asked the best questions on the podcast.
Of course he did.
It was, I loved it. It was great. Good questions. Kudos, Daryl. Way to go. Let's see. Tomorrow night, also on the GeoSnippets Reboot podcast, wife Amy and I will be talking about 15 great tips every geocacher needs to know. So we'll be going over those type of fun things on the GeoSnippets Reboot podcast. Finally, please consider becoming a patron of our show. It costs money to do a podcast. and every little bit helps. So if you can go over to geocachingpodcast.com and click on either the PayPal or the Patreon logos, and if you can throw us a couple of bucks a month, it would be awesome. We'd greatly appreciate it, and it literally helps things move along. So for the people that do, thank you. For the people that don't, if you can afford it, please consider it. We'd greatly appreciate it. All right, Taz, you ready?
Sure.
Let's do this.
The news.
In the news, the newest country souvenirs, Russia and Puerto Rico. I'm sure our future president-elect really is appreciating
No.
Russia being in there.
All right.
We're excited to announce the newest country souvenirs for you to collect on geocaching travels. Russia and Puerto Rico. As the largest country in the world, Russia spans 11 time zones and covers more than 1/8 of the Earth's inhabited land area. Find an urban cache in St. Petersburg or venture to a volcano on the, and I'm going to murder this, Kamchatka Peninsula.
You pronounced it perfectly.
Puerto Rico is home to over 1,000 active caches and a geocaching community known for its warm hospitality and friendliness to strangers. Enjoy stunning beaches or discover one of Puerto Rico's best-kept secrets, its extensive cave system. That's for all you spelunkers out there.
Right?
Learn more about geocaching in Russia and Puerto Rico on the Geocaching blog.
That's excellent. You know, one of the things that I have on the website for Geocaching Podcast is at the very bottom right hand point, it's GCPC around the world, and it's an active globe that spins. And if you watch the show or go to the website, it will mark a little pin mark for where everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get a good idea of where the active spots are around the world, and people are on there. I see like a...
Is that active who watches kind of a thing?
Yes, this is within... It's usually within the past, I think it's 2 weeks or a month, one of the two. And so that's how many have seen it. Check out Russia. There's about a pin and a half in there.
Really?
Europe, wide open. United States, covered. Russia, I think it would be great to have them come along. So just technologically wise, I've never seen Russia be a hot spot for technology. Like
they must. I'm sure they do. But
well, I'm sure there might be some kind of, I don't know, stipulations and things might be involved. But hey, we'll have to see. Interesting stuff.
You know, the KTP frowns upon geocaching, apparently.
Yeah. Especially
in Russia, the cache finds you.
Yeah, somehow placing a geocache by the Kremlin has a whole new meaning of no.
Yeah, not the best idea. Yeah, not the best idea.
All right. Let's see. GCPC mailbag. I'm going to go on to there. We have started up a Gmail account for the GCPC mailbag. It's actually gcpcmailbag@gmail.com. And in there, you can send anything that you would like to bring for us to bring onto the show. And so we appreciate the people that have been sending already. If you want to just ask a host a question, ask all the hosts a question, come up with a topic that you want us to discuss, anything like that, and send it along to us, and we'll bring it onto the show. We got something here, Scott, from JD Kint.
We did.
I thought it was really good.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, would you please?
I sure will. He says, hold on. He says, have any one of you ever been totally creeped out at a cache?
Oh, yeah. I guess the definition, because I kind of read over some of each of us as we put our little notes in there. Creeped out is a very interesting term.
Yeah, creeped. I mean, yeah, I guess I'll start. Yeah, I never like a cache never creeped me out, but I was once alone, miles in the woods by myself, and years and years ago, and I was being circled by a coyote. He was about 40 feet and just walking with me and circling me and just circling me and just circling me. That was kind of weird. I was like, I got a stick. Yeah, I literally got a big stick and carried the big stick with me. But he didn't do anything. He didn't, it just didn't growl. Just circled me and just eyed me and just kept an eye on me.
Yeah, it's like, go ahead, buddy.
That was kind of creepy. That was more scary than anything. But that's about it. That's about in terms of the icky stuff. Like creepy.
Yeah.
What about you?
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the sort of closest one to that I had, and I think still the scariest thing I've ever had with a cache was there was 4 of us. The 2 lads had got a teacher-only day at school, or teacher-only afternoon at school, so we went out. So 2 parents and 2 kids went out geocaching. Fair enough. Found a couple of trads, and I suddenly realised we were about 400 metres from a puzzle I'd solved, and they hadn't. So I said, "Do you want to go for it?" Hell yeah. So we went along this track and past a sign that said cattle. Yeah, fair enough. Saw the cows, that's fine. Coming along this track on a very steep hillside, so there's nowhere else to go really. Turned a corner and I looked. I thought, that is not a cow on the path. That is big. That is black. None of us have anywhere to go.
Oh boy.
That was, and it was a steep slope either side and gorse bushes, so there wasn't. We got out of it mostly okay.
Mostly.
It nudged one of us out the way.
Oh my!
So
because
was it a bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the closest I've ever got to I need new trousers.
Bull.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever seen a bull like
That close?
No, just not in a pen. That's like a wild bull.
No. It was in a paddock in a field. The cows were about 40, 50 yards.
I've ever seen a bull in a field.
They go out. Believe it or not, cows climb.
It's like, where do you live?
Yeah.
Me? I live in.
You don't have hills in Chicago.
You don't have. You got fields out there.
Yeah, but not bulls. I've seen cows. I don't see bulls.
Come on, I thought a Texan would have seen enough cattle.
Oh, Texas. I've seen plenty.
Oh, dude, he's got a cow in his backyard. A bull in his backyard. they roam free.
Yeah,
They're like deer.
One of my favorite, one of the early cache finds that I had actually took you to see a big Texas longhorn steer called Old Blue.
Wow. Let's see. Creepy out. I think the creepy out is when you go out in the middle of the woods and you find a homeless camp. That usually freaks me out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
Yeah, we've all done that. Yeah.
The other one that gets me is I went for an FTF for a geocache that was really poorly. The person that hit it was new, I guess, and didn't hide it. But where they hid it in was a deer gutting station in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
So you start walking up, and it's like, what's that smell?
Wow,
And
really?
You're walking in, and
Ooh,
it's
let's
like,
get the heebs.
yeah, and it's like you got carcasses, you got bones, you got stuff. They got a fire pit that was there for those cold winter nights. I don't know, but it was bad. Grossed me out completely. And the cache was actually hidden, get this, under one of the stones of the fire pit.
Oh. I mean, look, thinking back, I once was walking through the woods and there was a chain link fence, and it was winter, so there was snow on the ground. And I'm walking on the other side of the chain link fence, and suddenly it's all red, and I realize it's blood.
Yeah.
And then I go further, and there's a deer literally ripped apart.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming by coyotes is what, but like, and so what happens is they cornered the deer against the fence and just went at it with the deer. Like they got him, they were chasing him, cornered him, got him, ripped him apart. And that was a little like seeing it was like a fresh kill, maybe a day or two. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing that was kind of weird. Like there was a murder right there, literally a murder.
Yeah.
I mean,
just be happy it was a deer.
Yeah, and that was like, ugh, like that's. You made me now that I'm thinking about it. That's.
Yeah. I found the odd one with a dead bird or a dead rabbit or sheep nearby.
Yeah.
And you sort of think, but that's a whole new order of magnitude.
Yeah. It was, wow. Yeah. So,
All right. We got anything else?
you're going to see that stuff out there. You go into deep enough
Oh
into
yeah,
the
you
woods,
go
you're
in
going
the
to
woods. You're gonna find all
find
sorts of
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Although the dog doo-doo that I thought was a fake dog doo-doo for a container, and
Yeah.
used my shoe, and I should have grabbed a stick.
Used my shoe.
All right.
In a container full of black mold.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I signed the log, and then I ran to my car to get the antibacterial gel.
Dude, that's how you get the plague, isn't it?
You know, he has brought up the black mold how many times now?
Way too
Oh,
many
it's-
times.
I see you've changed the spelling back as well. I'd put the English U in it.
Oh, I looked at that. I
Yeah.
was like, "Why is this spelled with a U?"
What's a
Because I'm
mold?
Mold, because I'm a Brit.
That's
And a
move.
Kiwi.
It's move.
And colour has a U in it.
Wow. Yeah, don't even
Yeah.
get me going about the word
Yeah.
color either. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Kalu, it's
Leave
Kalu.
it alone.
No, Kahlua sounds like a good idea.
Now you're talking. That's with a K. Anyways, GCPC episode 478, Causes and Cures for Geocaching Burnout. You know, I've noticed over the past couple of weeks, either through the social interwebs or even on GeoSnippet's Reboot podcast, we have a lot of regular people that show up all the time in the chat room, and a couple of them have brought up, I just haven't been geocaching. And these are people that are avid geocachers. They go out, they travel, they just do everything, and then all of a sudden, bam, they hit a wall. And I don't know about it. I can't speak for everybody. I know that's happened with me. It's interesting how you can be that active in a hobby. And I mean, we've been in this for years. And then suddenly it loses its zing and people burn out. And so what I wanted to discuss tonight is some of the causes that may create a burnout type situation for somebody, and also maybe some helpful suggestions on how to get out of the rut. And I think that's one of the things that may cause it, is because you do get into a rut. Now, Scott, you've got all the caches that you found. What, 14,000, 15,000?
14, like 14.5. I'm like right there.
Have you ever hit situations like that where you just, because you've got your
Sure.
goals, you've got things that you do once a month for your first to find and things like that.
Mhm.
But have you ever hit a wall like that?
Sure, absolutely, all the time, actually. Luckily, if you're lucky enough to have a spouse that caches as well, Jessie really helps, because she pulls me out more than I pull her out, because she's close to 10, so she's like trying to hit that. So she's like, come on, you know. And I'm like, let's just stay in, you know, just because, like, you know, I've hit my Jasmer, I've hit my what's the other one? The Jasmer and I know Taz knows. Fizzy, thank you.
Fizzy,
you know, I've hit most of those. I've definitely hit the Jasmer. The Fizzy is the
DT grade.
Right? Yeah.
Jasmer's a combo.
Done that times 2. Jasmer, I'm like 3 away. They're all a plane right away, you know. And so, you know, I've challenges. I'm in over 100 challenges, you know. And so it's so for me, like, I've hit 10,000. It's you know, where do you go from there other than just having fun, you know? And so that's what I like to do, and I don't really put the pressure on myself to do anything anymore. It's just a matter of just going out, and, you know, I'm more about that, you know, finding those really good caches than finding numbers or anything like that. So it does happen, but like I say, one of the great things is if you have a spouse that does it, that always helps, because they're going to pull you out. You know, I'm sure Andy can understand.
Oh yeah, believe me, there's been many times she's like, "Let's go geocaching."
Right? Yeah. So it makes things a crap ton easier.
Yes.
You know, but it does happen. I mean, even especially with this many finds, it does happen. You know, unless you're insane about it. You know, which I know people who are. You know, but you slow down is what it is. You know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I like I say, I always do it. You know, I mean, I don't even really Pokemon anymore. I'm once again geocaching way more than I'm Pokemoning. You know.
Yeah. Everything goes through phases, I guess. So what's causing people to burn out, though? Do anybody have some ideas as to what would cause this? I've got a few.
Yeah.
One of the things that I see is like poor maintenance of local hiders. So you just get tired of dealing with things that aren't maintained.
to quote Scott.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's there's areas, pockets around where I live where it's just none of the crap gets maintained, and you just don't. It's irritating, you know.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. I thought I know when I've hit slumps, but I asked a few other people around New Zealand and got a whole load of responses back, ranging from you haven't got very many geocaches left within an hour from home. You know, especially if you're trying to fill in dot days or get 1,000 finds a year. Or the only puzzles you've got left have only been solved by a few people, so you haven't got a hope in hell of getting them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's nothing. There's nothing but urban micros, even in non-urban locations. I think one of you guys touched on that. And some people said sort of making yourself get out and find caches, whether or not you want to, makes it a chore rather than fun. I mean,
Sure.
I certainly had that when I was doing a geo streak. And if I'd not found one, I just really wasn't nice to know because I was getting sort of turning into a nerve bucket.
Yeah.
Also, someone's commented about local caches that form a sort of clique that you've not managed to break into, or you aren't in for some reason or other. Or a really cool one was somebody said your caching buddy gets a boyfriend or finds something else more important than geocaching.
That also happens with children. You bring your kids.
What, they get a child?
Yeah.
I
Kids get
suppose
old.
so.
Bring your kids, and then suddenly it's like, Dad, I got things to do.
Dad, I found boys. I don't want to.
The final one I got from them was your family make it unbearable to stop for a geocache when you really want to.
There you go. I see a lot of head.
I know that one.
See, I have no concept of that. Again, like it's
different when the
mine's like,
spouse
why aren't we
is
stopping? Why aren't we stopping?
Yeah.
I get that.
Well, I've
Because
sort of negotiated with my family. They've learnt that as long as I've found one cache for a day, I'm sort of almost human and pleasant to be with. But if I haven't found one by tea time, I get grumpy and stressy and all the rest.
Yeah, but if you train them to that, that's a good thing.
Right? There you go.
Yeah, but the payback is that if I want to get more than one geocache in a day when I'm with them, there's got to be a pretty damn good reason, or it's a pretty awesome location.
Yeah.
So it's sort of keeping finding things rather than numbers runs.
Yeah. Yeah, but then you're like parents of the year, like me and Jesse, and it's 1:00 in the morning. You take a half-hour detour to Arkansas to get a cache in a graveyard. Yeah, with our 3 children. Yeah, that's parenting of the year right there.
Who does that?
My wife would shoot me.
We've got
I did a 10-minute detour for a cache in a different county in a cemetery, and yeah, I got the.
Wow.
With 3 children under the age of 11.
It's a learning experience. Kids, look for the ghosts.
It's what Jesse did. Jesse didn't have Arkansas. You know, I mean, sorry, she had to get the cash.
There it is.
Yes.
We've got something like 50-stage night cache in the cemetery near us. So
Oh, there you go.
haven't done it.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
but
sometime.
It's stuff like that also makes it fun. But I know that's totally going off topic. But like that's one of the things. You know, it's like if you're lucky enough, and God, if you're lucky enough, it's such a blessing to have that. But it's when you don't have that, like Taz, it makes it a lot more difficult. You know, it really does.
And when I was in Houston, I was a bit blessed with having a lot of different geocaching buddies that I would go for on a weekend, or even sometimes skip out a little early and go grab some caches with, and that was great. But I met a lot of nice cachers here, but I haven't built the tight bonds to really go do the long days out with them yet.
And you've been out there a year, haven't you?
Yeah.
Has it been a year already?
It's a year and 2 months.
God, is it? Wow.
Yeah, time flies, doesn't it?
It sure does, man.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, Chad, I do feel for you because when I was married to my second wife, it was not a happy time for things, and geocaching was a bad word. And so when you had to do things,
Wow, really?
yeah.
That's over. To me, that's over. Like,
Believe me,
this is done.
Believe me, it is.
Yeah, we know it is. I hope that ended it.
Yes, actually, a good factor of it. But a lot of it was having to find geocaches either before or after work, just so that you could find geocaches.
Mhm.
Because the other part, it's too crazy to sit there and say, I want to stop over here and for a couple of minutes and get the rolled eyes and get all the rest of it. So
Right, sure, yeah.
No fun.
I guess if you're not blessed like me and Andy with a spouse who does do it, at least if you have a cooperative, caring, accepting spouse
Yes,
who
helps.
says, yeah, go out, have fun.
Yeah, my wife doesn't have a problem with me going out and going grabbing them. She just, if we're going somewhere as a family, she doesn't want to stop and grab them.
Right.
Now, when we're on vacations, where we go to vacations, there's usually virtuals and
Sure.
earth caches, because we like to go to the national parks and that kind of stuff. So I can do those all I want.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
That's cool.
Well, I try and work out which is what's interesting, and I vary what I go for depending on whether the rest of the family are with me. They'll quite happily go on the 5-mile, 7-mile tramp, but hike, but they enjoy the walk. They just hate the sort of 5 minutes of scrabbling around at the base of a tree trying to find this strange box. So it's sort of a trade-off.
Yeah. To get more into the rut type thing with geocachers, which could cause people to just, same thing, same old. As kind of a twist with this, has electronics made it too easy to play so people get bored? Has it been? Because in the old days, we had to print out stuff from MapQuest to get directions.
Mm-hmm. No, I remember. Sure.
We had PDAs if you were lucky. You had your GPS unit that you had to load. There was a whole set of procedures that was known how to do to set yourself up just to go out geocaching. So there was some effort needed to do this.
Yeah,
now that's the geek speaking.
Fun things. So getting rid of those things I would think would actually improve the enjoyment. So being able to do it with your phone, and then it's the hide itself, or getting to the location and seeing the location itself. That's really what geocaching, in my opinion, is about. It's not about loading your GPS unit or printing out reams of paper to figure out how to get there.
I think the routine is what I was pointing to. Is there was an investment involved of going.
It's an investment still. You look on the map. You decide where the hell you fancy going. You look, because I'm trying to not use tons of mobile phone data when I'm out and about. You download and store the caches that are likely to be in the area you're there, and you just go for it. So it's not. I mean, I wouldn't have got into the game under the old school routine, and they also give you scope for a hell of a lot of different types of puzzles.
Yeah, I think you can make a lot of investment still. I mean, with GSAC, I invest a lot of time with GSAC, and I keep all my databases up to date with tens of thousands of caches in my area, and I solve my puzzles and such, et cetera, et cetera. So, I still invest a fair amount of time when I could just go with my phone and say, hey, what's here? But I invest the time and effort to also be able to do everything offline to save my data, save my power.
Yeah. It's to me, it's. I don't think it makes it too easier. It just makes it more sort of looking for
convenient,
more accessible, more accessible more than anything, than easier. I mean, I remember when I started out on an iPhone, and then before the app, like I think I've told the story. It was literally going red dot to blue dot and making a match, and in the Apple Map, punching in the chords, and then I finally, for Father's Day of 2008 or 9, I got a CSX, and I remember going for my first cache, and I was looking at my GPS, following it, and it read 0, and I looked down, and there was the cache. And I'm like, well, where's the sport in that, man? I mean, really? Come on. First cache I'd have. I'm like, really? I mean, the phone at least gets you 30 feet. That's about the best you're going to get, you know, especially with an iPhone 4.
Times
You know?
that happened after that?
I mean, I was just like, wow, that's horrible.
I mean,
People DNF stuff? Really? I mean, yeah.
the damn hides still sit there and laugh at you when you can't find, you know, which of these bloody... It's a retaining wall with a lot of rocks. Okay. Which of them? Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Sarah,
Yeah,
just
I
out
love
of
it when
curiosity.
your 9-year-old son says, "Dad, is that it above you, hanging above your head?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that.
Now, Sarah, you do you work a lot more in New Zealand with elevation? So if you have you had
so much.
situations, not too much, because that would be my luck is I'd be at ground zero and then realize it's 400 feet above the cliff.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
God.
I've done that before.
I've had a couple of cases like that where you've got some people give you the elevation, some people don't. There was one really good one in New Plymouth that when I was on holiday, and there was a walk along the seafront, and I got to ground zero, and there was a grating, and the cache description had sort of said it was a bolt, and there's 4 bolts on this sodding grating, and no, it wasn't any of those. And then I looked up and round and discovered there was a path sort of about 30, 40 meters higher going parallel at the top of this bank. So you had to walk a couple hundred meters along to find where it joined the track I was on and then walk back up. And I eventually got it, but
Yep.
yeah,
It's like-
sort of.
Yeah, I find that a lot more common in California than I ever did in Houston. Houston's flat. So,
Like Illinois, there's no cliffs in
There's
Illinois.
nothing.
But which floor of the shopping centre is it on?
It's more right. Yeah, it's more like it.
which floor of the parking garage is it
Parking
on?
Yeah, right, the parking garage.
Wow.
Yeah.
When it comes to the millennial type thing is what comes to mind here. Is there too much emphasis on the numbers and that causes them to get bored? So they're doing the same thing. They're doing park and grab, park and grab, park and grab, park and grab. After a while, you can only lift so many skirts, before it gets boring.
Mhm.
Pardon?
Just
Right.
saying.
Ding, 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 ding.
I will
ding.
never get tired of that, Andy, for the record.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, like I said, as we touched on earlier, when you have 14,000 finds, you've definitely seen everything. I rarely do I come across a cache I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
But you keep it interesting, and that's the woods. That's not park and grabs. There's nothing interesting about park and grabs. You
No.
know, there's nothing
Right.
interesting about every 528 feet. There's a cache. There is nothing interesting about that.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's the experience.
Absolutely. It's 6:00 in the morning by yourself in the woods, just you and the trees. It's
Yeah.
amazing. There's nothing like it. You know, I implore people to do that if they've never done that before. It's amazing.
Yeah,
And
getting
this
out's
year-
good.
What's that, Tess?
Far I've done the fewest caches that I've done in a year, and a lot of it has to do is with the fact that I'm not going after any more park and grabs. At least not for a good while. I made a decision that I'm only going after puzzles or multis or caches with high favorite items, and because I was getting burnout with the routine.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I absolutely feel there's a place for them. I accept them.
Yeah.
I do them. I'm going to do them in geocaching day. But I also that's just not what. There's people that's all they do, and that just blows me away. These people with
Right.
50,000, 60,000 finds. I have friends who every weekend they find a power trail and they were there and they're hitting that power trail, getting 200 caches in 3 hours. And it's like I could do that every now and again. I do it when I go to the mega, when I go to the mega up in Wisconsin every year, I do that, and geocaching day, and occasionally a bike trail. But that's it. I'd rather get 10 or 5, and have an amazing trek down the trail with Jesse.
Yeah,
than
exactly.
do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
You know.
Or go for that one on the trail that you missed last time. That,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
just
that.
to tidy it up. Yeah, there's a few of those around.
Yeah, I have talked over the years, more and more people that have been in geocaching for a while, they are definitely going for the quality as opposed to the quantity. And just like Taz said, you know, they've got their specific favorites. They either like puzzles or larger geocaches or better challenges or whatever it is that makes them want to go out and go geocaching. But at least they've identified it and said, this is what we're doing. And geocaching is versatile enough that you can do that.
Yeah. And what I'm noticing, sadly, is that like they're not coming out. The ratio is not like whenever I go into the woods, I will drop a cache, and I've been doing that. I've been putting a cache out in woods, you know,
cool.
just to put one out in the woods because nobody. And you know, one of them I put out has been hit once in 6 months, you know, and that's sad to me. That like, come on, really, guys, like that. That's just to make it. Everybody's only hitting the park and grabs, you know. I mean, it's got to be 30-1 park and grab to woodsy hide.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be the ratio.
That's a shame because that's how it used to be, at least here. I don't know how it is in New Zealand. For us, if you put out a puzzle cache or a multi-cache, forget it. They're not going to touch it.
Doesn't get touched.
Yeah. And nowadays, like you said, if it's not a grab and go, they don't want to take them off in the woods.
Yeah.
There's a range.
If you look at
most of ours that are within a couple of hours walk will get hit. I mean, if something goes out, it'll get hit by the first to find chasers.
Yeah. And
then it may, you know, if it's remote, it may not get touched for 3 or 4 months. Or if so yeah, there's some that are on my radar that would require a tramp and an overnight stay in a hut somewhere, and then another bit of walking to get to it.
Right.
And I suppose the difference is the ones you've actually got a plan for, as opposed to just drive and stroll for a bit and it's under that tree somewhere.
Yeah, there's some in Europe that I over the years, and Scott and Chad, I'm sure have heard these before. It's a day or even an overnight hike to the cache, and they love it. And in the United States, if it doesn't have a neon arrow, forget it. It's a shame that we're
and a skirt to lift. It doesn't.
Right. Subject. But yeah, it's amazing that it's getting to the point now where people don't want to walk in the woods because, like Scott, I am a huge.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I miss doing. I don't do it enough. I wish I could do it more. I can't wait to retire so I can do it all the time.
Yeah.
And I'll never retire it, sadly. That's the problem. But like, I don't do it nearly enough. I would be so much happier. My life would be so much peacefuler. Peacefuler, is that a word? More peaceful if I could do it.
Yes. Yeah. So for things that to help people who are in the rut or haven't gone out geocaching in a while, what are some of the things that we can talk about as far as helping prevent burnout? Help you to keep the spark alive, as it were.
I suppose
I was going
to say the first thing is go on, I'll shut up.
Flip a coin.
Got the delay. I would say, stepping back and searching your area for high favorited caches and hit one or two of them, or even take a break from caching for a little while. But keep that app ready. So if you're out there, go take a look if you have a chance. But take a break and only go for things that are highly favored or something that really interests you.
Good point, Sarah.
Yeah. I was going to say part of the thing is work out what you're not enjoying about caching, and if you know what you don't like, you're better able to identify what would interest you, what would get you back out there and going. I'd say whether it's like as you said earlier, going out for the walk in the woods, or just for once doing a numbers run, or solving some puzzles. Yeah. But I'd say just somebody else suggested to me being selective about the caches you go for, which you've already touched on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or finding a challenge that interests you.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I said was challenges. It's one of the things I like. Go for those challenges. That's what they're there for. You know, especially the more difficult ones, not the find 100 in a day, which is anybody, my mother could do that, and she's not even alive anymore. I mean, like the actual like the ones that take months to complete. Like those, you got to work at it. Like you got to spend like 2/4 of a year doing it. Like that kind of challenge.
Yeah.
Hit those buddies, because those keep you motivated, because you got to work to do them. You see that you have that end, but that light is at the end of the tunnel is a really tiny light. So you got to work towards it. Something like that. Our vacation, going on a geocaching vacation. Me and Jesse do it all the time. We love doing it. There's nothing more fun than it. Or a geocaching road trip with your buddies, a weekend road trip or something like that. Get out of your area, so to speak.
That getting out of the area, I think, is key.
Yeah.
Go someplace new where, again, it's an experience. It could even be a town you haven't been by before. We never go off this way. Why don't you try going off that way and see what you can find?
Yeah.
There is what I have found, and I was curious if this was the same with you folks as well. You go for a long distance or a long amount of time without geocaching. You pick up the app and you go and you find one. Now, I'm not talking just a park and grab as much, but just finding one that is a little more difficult than a park and grab. And you go out and you look and you look and you find it. And then it happens. It clicks for me. It's like magic. It's like, why did I stop? This is awesome. It's the thrill of the hunt to go out and logically figure out where this hidden treasure is. Granted, it's a Tupperware box, and then find it. And for me, that just it's like, oh my God, why haven't I been doing this?
Yeah, or it's you've been chipping away at this puzzle that's been annoying you for months, and suddenly you get the breakthrough.
Yes.
Shit, that works. I can't sit here. I've got to go and find that. Yes.
Yeah, it's also one other thing you could do is start going to events if you don't, or hold an event. I always I love going to them, and it's even more fun to have them, because then it's on your own terms.
That does get the adrenaline pumping.
Yeah, it's fun. I love sitting around and talking with people about that. That always, whenever I'm lulling, that always gets me right back, because you go and you tell stories. I have 8 years worth of caching stories to tell, and you go and you tell stories and you get yourself excited, worked up about going out and doing it.
Geocaching just need a place.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah, I've done a couple of almost pop-up events where it's right. I work in the central business in central Wellington, and just found a sort of little open area right in in the centre of town. And said, right, half an hour, we'll have an event. Come even if it's only for 5 seconds to sign the log, and it gets people out, and it gets people that you don't see at the more state standard events quite often. And I've found that if you talk to somebody you don't know, especially if they're newbie, they're bouncing and buzzing and really enthusiastic, and it rubs off on you.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you can do those in so many. I'm hoping it's still going on. In my part of the town in Raleigh, it hasn't been as much. All you do is to do an event with something like that is you say meet at such and such restaurant or a meet and greet, and that's it. You let the restaurant know how many people you expect are coming. And you just get a bunch of people at tables and talk. Geocachers just need 2 things besides the geocaches: is a place to talk and some kind of substance, food, water, beverage, whatever.
I'm stingy. The ones I did was the case of we're meeting near this statue. Bring your own lunch.
There you go.
So you don't even need to book in anywhere.
That's awesome. Bring your own lunch. I think that's awesome.
BYOL.
I really like that. That's actually a very cool idea. I do like that. Wow, that is something. So yeah, there's people get into ruts. People need to get out of ruts, and most importantly, they need to find a way of getting out of the rut. And I'm hoping some of the stuff that we talked about today helps you with getting out of your rut if you're in one. And also, if things are getting a little boring, a little stagnant, change things up. That's probably one of the best things that I've heard so far with this.
Yeah.
Find out what's troubling you. Stop doing that and start doing some other new things, because there are so many different things that you can do with geocaching.
Yeah, really quick, just to end on this, a cacher in my area, MGB, he was like that. He used to get bored all the time, and so one of the things he did was he did non-traditional November, where he challenges himself to only find non-traditionals in November.
Oh,
That's
I
it,
love that.
only non-traditionals. And the funny thing is, he's also an FTF hound, so he's got to find at least one non-traditional FTF for that month as well. But he only gets non-traditionals. That's all in November. He just finished.
That'll shake.
It's always non-traditional November, every November. Yeah, but like that's something to do, something to think about. It's like just challenge yourself if there's no challenge out there. That's what he does.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Good note on that. I really like that. All right, good stuff, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show, and special thanks to Chad, Sarah, and Scott for everything that you do. Thank you so much. I think it's time to wrap this puppy up. All right, let's do this. Thank you for subscribing to the Geocaching Podcast. Please be sure to join us each and every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time for another episode of the Geocaching Podcast, right here on the Geocaching Podcast website at www.geocachingpodcast.com/live. The video version of our show is available on YouTube, and the audio version is available on our home website, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and many of your favorite podcatchers. We love hearing from our viewers and listeners, so please visit us through our social media sites or contact us via our voicemail line at 630-31-VOICE. The Geocaching Podcast is a Headhardhat production and is produced by Andy Smith, Scott Burks, Chad Courtney, and Sarah T.S. This show is copyright 2016 by Andrew T. Smith. All rights reserved. And clear. Good show, folks. All right, folks, thank you so much for stopping on by. We greatly appreciate it. Hey, stay warm in the States this next week. It's going to get cold. I might actually have to wear a hoodie. So I'm just saying, freezing weather's coming. Stay warm out there when you're out geocaching. Don't forget those gloves. Don't forget the winter wear. Keep your fingers and toes. I'm just saying.
Right.
Have a good one. Have a safe one. And we will see you next week on the Geocaching Podcast. Bye-bye, folks.